going on? It's your man King Kerosene, and this is Conversations with a King, Season 2. In the background, you hear Ella May. Her new album is phenomenal, actually. Like, really, really good. If you haven't had a chance to, make sure you listen to it, for sure. I'm gonna start this season off on a somber note. I'm gonna talk about our state of mental health, i.e., depression. It's a touchy subject. It's a very touchy subject. A lot of people that go through depression don't even know that they're going through it until someone that's been depressed tells them that. It's pretty conflicted on whether or not I should do this because being in the military, you come out and talk about it, automatically. People think that you're suicidal, and then people ask if you're okay, and those who, you know, people just come out the woodworks and want to talk and stuff, which is fine. Like, I'm not you guys that feel like you need to do that. Do what you need to do. Do what you feel like you got to do. I don't knock it. It's irritating, but I don't knock it because there are people out there that do want to talk about it. But I'm pretty outspoken about mine, and it's because I'm depressed, or just because somebody's depressed doesn't mean that they want to kill themselves. So just keep that in mind. What is depression? I'm not gonna give you the Webster's definition of it because I've lived it, living it. Not living it now, but I've lived it, and there's definitely levels of it. But yeah, that's the thing. But what is depression? Depression is rock bottom. I was in NCOA, and a guy that actually became really good friends with. I was speaking about it in class, and he came up to me afterwards, and we had a conversation about it, and it just dropped on me like depression is literally seeing things from the bottom that you used to see from level or from the top. You're seeing everything from rock bottom, and it's a different perspective. So when you're on top of everything just looks like it's conquered. Everything is cool. When you're looking at everything level, face to face, you take everything as it comes to you. But when you're looking at everything from the bottom, everything just seems super heavy and overwhelming, and that's how depression sets in. Depression means you're overwhelmed by everything. Um, you're not really able to process things the way you would if you was level or above. You start thinking of yourself as inadequate, and you start looking at things in a different perspective. Depression is definitely a sickness. It's an illness. It's definitely psychological. It's definitely emotional. It can become physical if you let it. Definitely a mental thing. And if you don't address it, it's only going to get worse. Depression does not have a face. You have your high days and your low days and your regular days. Um, but depression is definitely real. And depression could happen to anybody. Um, Depression stems from a series of things that you just don't deal with and then you let get on top of you. Kind of like debt. Look at depression as debt. Depression is emotional debt. That's what it is. If you don't deal with things as they come, you just let things keep on piling on, then that's when depression happens. And then that's when you get the anxiety attacks. That's when you have the suicidal thoughts, because now you just feel like you're in a corner and you've let so many things build up that you're just overwhelmed with what's happening. The messed up thing about depression is when you're going through it, you don't see a bright side. All you see is where you used to be, what you used to do, how you used to act. And you have a longing to want to get back to that part. The beauty of depression is you see everything from the bottom. Excuse me. You see where you fell from. You see significance in things that you took for granted. You see value in things that you didn't put value in. You start to second guess yourself. You start to look at things for what they are. Usually things are long gone. You can't get them back, and so it sends you deeper into depression. It's just really a never-ending cycle of burying yourself until you just get to the root issue, root cause. And trust me, there is a root cause for you being depressed. I chose this weird angle because this is how depression kind of looks. You're just looking up at everything. So if you're like, why is this camera so close to him? And why I can only see his face. This is what depression looks like. You're just looking up. You're looking up at everything. This is what it is. It's hard to explain how you feel to people that's never experienced depression. Some people may not have the patience. Some people just may not have the comprehension capacity or understanding capacity. And what we would usually do is blame them for not understanding, hold that against them. And that's where we start to put ourselves in a box where, you don't understand where I'm coming from. So then we start this pity party. Not in the sense of feeling sorry for yourself, but in the sense of nobody understands, so how can I get up out of it? It's hard to defeat depression on your own. I won't dare call it impossible because I know there's people that have had to do it by themselves and have done it, but it's so hard, it takes longer. So when someone takes interest and wants to actually help you, when you get to a state where you're able to accept it for what it is instead of looking at it negatively, you should do so. It's very important to know that there is an end to depression. Depression doesn't last forever unless you wallow in it. If you want to get better, you can. Again, there will be times where it feels hopeless and it feels like nothing is going your way. But I put out a quote today that simply said that it's okay to lose. Just make sure you stay undefeated. And there's a difference between losing and being defeated. When you lose, it's just things stacked up against you that you couldn't overcome. But when you defeated is a mindset. Defeated means you don't want to try no more. A loss, you can bounce back from a loss. Look at everything as a season. Whether you like football, basketball, baseball, soccer, tennis, whatever. Look at everything as a season. You hear teams all the time that get beat, whether they get beat bad or get beat by 1 point, say we can learn from this. We can learn from this loss. But you'll never see someone that's successful or someone that wants to do something with their lives to take a loss and stay down. That means you're defeated. That means you're giving up. That means, okay, well, I can't do this. But your life means so much more than the loss you just took. The loss that you just took really just equipped you to make sure you don't lose that way again, if you learn from it. But those who don't make adjustments are only preparing themselves to lose again. But whether you lose all the time or you take big losses sometimes, you just really got to understand that wins will come also. Just as much as losses are inevitable, so is success, which was the end of it, which was the end of my quote. And I said yesterday that in order to grow, sometimes we gotta get broken. And I likened it to a seed. A seed gets planted into the ground as a seed, and as you water it, it breaks open and new things come from that seed. So, there's a quote that came out. It was like, they buried me, and they thought that they won, but they didn't know that I was a seed. Meaning that they was going to sprout up. You're not glass. You're just a seed. So you have to operate as such. I said all that to say this. If you're depressed, own it. Learn from it. Get out of it what you need to get out of it and move forward. Everybody's depression hits them differently, lasts different times. But if you want to defeat it, you can. And there's going to be a point in time in your depression that you're comfortable, that you just don't want to do anything, that this is your time to readjust, to get yourself together. That's what's going to happen at rock bottom, because that's your new foundation. That's where you hit it at. But that doesn't mean that that's where you stay. That just means that's where you start to rebuild. It's going to be somewhere that you've never been before. That's where the thoughts are going to come in, like I said earlier, and being inadequate and not want to go on. But once you find your strength and once you get up and dust yourself off, you know that you're at rock bottom, and now you're looking up at everything, and that's where you start. That's exactly where you start, and you gain your strength back day by day by believing in yourself again, first and foremost. And then again, when others try to help you, they're going to give you the cliche, I'm praying for you, trouble don't last always, live to fight another day. And you may not find solace in those things, but understand, take what they're trying to do instead of what they're saying and draw strength from that. They want to see you succeed. They want to see you win. So at that point, don't listen to the words. If those words help you, by all means. Those kind of words don't help me. But the intent that the person has is what builds me up, because I know that they want to help. They want to be there for me. So draw strength from that. Don't be afraid to lean on them. The biggest thing I tell you to do is pray. I read Proverbs, and some of you may not be religious, But I submit that even if you don't believe in God and you have your own certain views, the book of Proverbs really just gives you really, really good advice. The verses don't really, go together. It's just like really good advice. You can like take verses from Proverbs and tell somebody a proverb and then like help them out, and won't have nothing to do with Jesus, God, or religion, Christianity, Judaism, none of that. So I would read Proverbs, and if that doesn't work, you just really have to set in your mind the time that you were the happiest, because at that time you're at your worst. So you have to set in your mind when you were the happiest, and think on those things when things were good and things were going your way, and understand that it's attainable because it's happened before. Depression is real. We all tackle it differently. There's no too extreme. However you need to get through it, get through it. But you have to get through it. Taking your life is not the answer. Hurting yourself is not the answer. If talking it out ain't the answer at the moment, do things to preoccupy your mind, or bask in whatever you're going through until you learn the lesson that you're supposed to learn. And once you do that, you get up and then you start building. You weren't sent to this earth, regardless of what you believe, to kill yourself. You wasn't sent here to suffer. You were sent here with a purpose. Whether your purpose is to help others, whether your purpose is to be the greatest whatever there was, you were sent here for a purpose. But you wasn't sent here to suffer. You didn't exist to be miserable. So it's just a phase. Albeit a long phase or short phase, it is literally just a phase. Look at it as you're on the highway and you're just in a tunnel with no lights. Everything is dark. But that tunnel is man-made. And at some point it has to come to an end. That tunnel won't last. So just ride it out till it ends. Find something, somebody in your life that is worth living for, that's worth fighting to get better for. And if you don't have anybody or anything else, you look yourself in the mirror and understand that you are enough to fight for. You are enough to live for. Regardless of what anybody has told you, what anybody else has put you through, what life has thrown at you, how unfair things may seem. You weren't sent here to go through troubles forever. Just think about that. This is one of the shorter conversations, but it's been weighing on my heart and pretty heavy. So I felt like this was a perfect beginning of season 2. Pay attention to your mental health. And if you have a significant other or loved ones around you, pay attention to their mental health, because we can all do something to help our counterparts get through what they're going through. Number one, they gotta want help. And number 2, you gotta be willing to give it. If those two things line up, then there'll be sunshine after a while. Hope y'all stay safe. Hope y'all are blessed. I'm your man, King Kerosene, aka King KD. Y'all have a great day. And this is the start of King Conversations Season 2. And